So the Buffalo Bills at the Denver Broncos. We kind of saw what Buffalo was capable of on Sunday Night Football when they absolutely crushed, and I mean crushed, the Steelers in prime time. But then we also saw what the Broncos were capable of doing against the Panthers, and it was impressive. Drew Lock made a serious case for being the starting quarterback next year, and I'm serious. I think Drew Lock's good. I don't think he's great, but I think he's good. I think he can be a Derek Carr-esque quarterback, right? Always decent, right? Never going to win you a football game by himself, but, he's good enough to keep you in games. I think that's what Drew Lock is for this team, and it seems like they figured it out. They figured out how to win with Drew Lock, and it seems like it just happened. It happened in the Dolphins game, right? You could have seen the just absolute, it's like a switch went off in Vic Fangio's head, and it was like, what if we ran the ball more? And you know what happened? They ran the ball more, and they were more successful. Sure, they lost 2 in a row after that, right? But one was with no quarterback against the Saints, and the other one was against the Chiefs. And it was a very close game against the Chiefs. Their defense played well, and they almost had a win, although Drew Lock didn't play very well. And then we had the Panthers game. The Panthers game was really good. You ran really effectively, right? And then you threw some bombs to KJ Hamler, my guy. But I don't know if you can do that against the Buffalo Bills defense, who's looked like it's gotten better each week. The one thing that I think you need, if you want to add for the Buffalo Bills going forward, I think they can. They think their Super Bowl window's opening, where you got a Josh Allen, he's on his rookie contract, and you're not paying him a whole lot. You have a good enough ground game. You have some good receivers. You have a good enough offensive line. And your defense, linebacker core is good with A.J. Klein. You have Tremaine Edmonds, and you have Matt Milano. Then you have the secondary, who's one of the best in the NFL. What you have to add, in my opinion, is some good pass rushers. Because at this point, you just don't have many. And that's just why I think Drew Lock's going to have a good game. If you don't put pressure on people, they're going to have a good game. The Bills got some pressure on Big Ben. But it was a whole lot. You had to bring a blitz to get it, and it was not a good defensive line game. Now, the corners played out of their minds. It helped that those Steelers receivers couldn't figure out how to catch a ball, but Bills are a good football team. I feel like I've looked at the injuries. I don't think John Brown was supposed to come back this week. I don't feel like John Brown's going to come back this week because, why risk it? Why risk re-aggravating this injury? If they win this week, by the way, they've clinched the division. You cannot lose, though, because you have Titans have 4 losses. You have 3, right? But they have the tiebreaker. So you don't want to fall to the 4 seed, because right now the 4 seed's playing the Browns. You don't want to play the Browns. The Browns are a good football team. Right now you're sitting at the 3 seed, so you'd be playing the Colts. So, that's bad the Browns. In my opinion, the Browns are the scariest football team right now for me, because the Browns they're the Titans. They remind me so much of the Titans last year, except for I think Tannehill's more consistent. But the Bills are a really good football team. Josh Allen is legitimately going to be in the MVP race next year. This has to be a tune-up game to them. You got to figure out how to get the ground game going, because if you're going to make the playoffs, you have to have a ground game with Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, because they're both talented backs. You just got to figure out how to use them correctly. I think this is going to be a good win for the Bills. I think the Denver Broncos keep it close for most of the game, but the Bills end up running away with it in the fourth quarter. Give me the Bills by more than 6, right?